So for Sheeva, we'll take the characters one at a time, I guess. For Sheeva, let's talk about some of the stuff that we see as we're going through this, right? So this is a string that looks like it's probably a mid-starter. There's a chance it's overhead, but that seems unlikely, just based on how this game in general works. There's just not a lot of like very strong overhead low characters. In MK9, she did have important overhead low stuff. At least like stand block, crouch block stuff maybe is more accurate. So maybe they'll do that with her in this game, but there just hasn't that hasn't been the focus. There are some characters with overhead low mix-ups, but they're not typically like safe options. They're not typically like very damaging options, you know what I mean? The mix-ups are mostly other stuff. So maybe, but it's at least a mid, don't you think? As she comes in here. At least a mid, for sure. So that's cool. It's nice for her to have a what looks to be a hit confirm string. Something like that. With a little pop-up at the end. Those typically aren't cancelable in this game. Most big pop-ups like that require bar. And it doesn't really, I mean, in this clip she doesn't get anything after that. But there's always a chance that she might be able to do something. We'll see what they do with that. So this is a little shield bash. I think this is the only time that we see it. This little shield bash here. And I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is a special move. I don't know if this is a string. Definitely, yeah. So right, I should have said. This kind of string. Oh, let's go back. Sometimes that is useful in the corner. It just depends. I mean, it looks like she's recovered already, doesn't it? While he's still in the sky. So it may be that is supposed to be a pop-up corner juggle confirm kind of situation. I could definitely see that. Because it looks like imagine they were very close together, right? And Sheeva got a chance to move now. Like at least she's doing a down one, the juggle, at least, if not something else. So, anyway, we'll see. This little thing, again, I don't know if that's a special. I don't know if that's a button. Could just be, it looks like a reasonably fast mid. Regardless. And it might be unsafe, but we don't know because we don't see it get blocked. Then there's this, and we see this a couple of times. We'll see it later on too. So what's interesting about that is that it looks like a couple of things from MK9 to me. Like that, this looks like string. This looks like the grab that you do if the opponent's crouching. Right here. And that looks like stand 4. Like those look like stuff that we've seen before for the character. What's funky, we'll get into this a little bit later, but it looks like the same exact sequence later on, so I don't know if these things actually are separate or if they're all tied together, just automatically, or whatever, but in any case. And we mentioned this, talked about this last week when news first came out that characters were coming out. IGN had a tiny little blurb where it said that Sheeva was going to be a grappler and she would have standing and crouching grabs again, like in MK9, so I mean, my guess is that is a crouching grab, anti-crouch grab, that then pops up and you get a juggle, but we'll see. We'll see. This. That could be super cool, okay? What I truly hope this is a wake-up grab. Oh, it would be. So Jax knocks her down, right? The sweep, and then she wakes up with what I hope is up 3. Right? What if it's actually a grab? Whoop. That would be so cool. What an interesting and rare idea. That said, if this is a high grab, it might suck, but we'll see. So Jax is standing when he gets grabbed. Right, he's just standing here. Now he's not blocking, right? So it's hard to know two things. One, is it a hit or is it a grab? Is it a hit that's just animated to come out? Is it a hit grab? Basically, right? A hit attack that then is animated as if it's a grab. That's existed. So it could be. And then secondarily, if it is a grab, is it duckable? Because they have Jack standing here. Just don't know. Just don't know. So I would say it's an up 3. I agree with you on that. Up 2s are launchers, and this one's not a launcher. So it's an up 3 for sure. The questions are just 2. The questions are, is this a grab, or is it hit that's animated like a grab, that it's blockable? And is it a high, or is it a mid? The other up 3s are mids. Let's take a look here. Who knows, right? Is the little secondary low hand on her right side, is that part of the grab? Is that part of the animation here? Because if so, that kind of mix looks like it maybe a mid. Who knows? I don't know. But that's one of the things that has me most curious about this. There's no command grab wake up. There's no command grab fatal blow. We'll see. Why do you say that you think it's 2-bar? Sewer rat. It's like 1 to me, but who knows? It might be a high. Absolutely might be a high. I don't know, I only see one. So, okay. Reach out. But that's it. There's no additional meter burn as far as I can tell. Anyway, we'll see, right? So then, after that, the classic, right? You hit somebody with the up 3 and then you're like, alright, grab. This has gotta be back grab. This has gotta be the back that throws the opponent backwards, right? Neutral grab in MK games. We'll see it again, but I feel like right after that, she definitely, like, kicks him backwards. Don't you think? Like, this is definitely regular grab. And then she kicks Jax backwards. Later on, there's a forward one. And then at the end of the little Sheeva clips, like I said, I have little comparisons. So there were 2 times when we see that grab, and I really think it's the back grab. Anyway, we'll check it out later. So. Here's a little string, and again, this looks like a mid to me. So each of the strings that we've seen for her so far look to me like they're mids. Just guessing, right? But okay, whoops. Intended to get right here. One last stomp, yes. And then let's move forward frame by frame. Okay, so. Like, that's a mid for sure. So, mid start. I mean, high or mid? Right. And it looks like it has pretty good hit stun on it. She then comes in with this. Like, gotta think it's forward 4, right? Oh yeah, okay. So here's what I think this is. This is like, you know, forward 1 or back 1 or forward 2 or back 2, whatever. Those are kind of interchangeable in terms of how the game does it. And then this is forward 4. Right. Or is it forward 3? Is it her front foot? It's kind of hard to tell. She takes a step. Okay, let's watch. Oh yeah, so that's regular walk, right? Who knows? Who knows? I don't know if that's forward 4 or forward 3, but I mean, it is. It's one of those two, don't you think? And this is, I mean, I would think it's a hit, right? It's probably not a grab. That'd be super awesome. And I would definitely be playing Melina. Oh, sorry, oh my god. Sheeva. Melina died. She's never coming back. Sheeva, if she had that, I think would be super sick. So it's just a grab. It's just a hit that's animated to look like a grab. In the same way as, like, Sonya has that. Like, that's probably what it is here. Jackie has that, you know what I mean? A couple of different characters have that kind of thing. You know, if it connects on hit, then it's like animated like a grab. Yeah, again, I agree. I agree. It looks to me like she walks forward briefly, and then that this kick comes from her back leg, which would make it forward 4. And again, we'll see. I don't know that it's super important. You wonder, oh, Kayamek, I hadn't thought about that. Kayamek says, I wonder if this is part of the string. I really think those are two separate things. Whew. And then this. Okay, so we'll take a look at the comparisons later because there are a few clips that they have shown us of the Stomp. But this, so this is meter burn on the way up? No. It's Stomp, and then she meter burns it. And there could be a couple of different conditions for this crushing blow. This crushing blow might be, maybe it's like Liu Kang, who has a crushing blow where if he parries the opponent's wake up, then that's a crush. But maybe it's just like a counter hit situation, right? Maybe it's just that she has to go up into the sky, do a counter hit, and then amplify. Could be. It's something like that. There's some crushing blow attached to this. So this is just a regular Stomp, I think, which makes me think, as we'll talk about this later when we see the 3, but this might be a gear move. It would be super cool if this was counter hit, because that would just make it a lot more useful. You know, you would be able to catch people on a guess with this if you think that they're going to do a projectile from far away. You know, if you think that they're going to do some string, I don't know. What if you do down 1 into Stomp and they're like trying to counter poke you with down 1 or down 3 or whatever? That may be unlikely because that really takes a long time right there. But still, you could certainly think of more use cases for this. If it's a counter hit, then if it's just anti-wake up. But we'll see. So that, I think, is finally like a high start. All right, the little jaw right there in pieces. So this is like stand 1 probably. Stand 1, 2. Right, probably stand 1, 2. Sometimes they make that like stand 1, back 2, or what, you know, whatever, but that's probably what that is. Stand 1, 2. So high, mid. So she may have what the kids call an auto shimmy, which is where if you do stand 1 and then mix up between grab or 2, if the opponent tries to neutral duck, which is how you get under grabs, then you'll hit them with the 2. But if they want to block, then you can, if they want to block the 2, then you can grab them instead. A little mix up that's not uncommon in this game. So 1, 2, I would think, and then that. That's super funky. So 1, 2. So do you think that's a combo? That's a question that I have. 1, 2 into pretty long startup fire move. Pretty long. 1, 2. I just don't know. I just don't know if that's a combo or not. Oh, you think that's a gear move, do you? And you think it's a stance even? Interesting. We do see this later on as well. Okay. So do you think it's like you enter stance and then you decide which one of the projectiles to throw, right? Maybe you press 1 and she throws from her front hand, and 2 and she throws from her other one, and 3 she throws from her low front hand, something like that? That would be really interesting. So let's take a look at the Projectile Arcs. So that one is probably a high. It just kind of looks like it. Who knows, of course, but that's my guess. And that might have been press 2? I don't know. Back punch? Or maybe that's actually forward punch because her left leg is the one that's back. Maybe Oh, hello. Didn't mean to do that. What? Alright, we're getting out of that real fast. Just redo this. So, maybe 1, and it looks like probably a high. Maybe 4, and it looks like maybe a mid. Could it be a low? I mean, it's not impossible. There are low projectiles in this game. They exist. Maybe. Maybe. And so now she has, I would guess, the 2 button and the 3 button remaining. And then she amplifies, and maybe that means that just all of them go. So whichever one she's holding on to, go. Interesting. And in addition, take a look at the beginning of this here. So the first projectile she throws is this one. And it has, look at, it's straight at the beginning. But it kind of looks like then she's going to throw another projectile from her other remaining top hand. And it starts in the same sort of horizontal looking thing, and then it kind of arcs downward. So the one that was up top, right? You see what I mean? It kind of goes downward. So I wonder if those are like, is that like Dr. Fate, where if you're close to him, you can duck, but if you're far, you have to block, is a mid. I wonder. Yeah, that's what I suspect as well, Kayamek, that when you press amplify, maybe she just throws all the things. She has 2 left, so she does this. But if you just did amplify immediately, maybe she throws 4 projectiles. And I don't think any of those were combos. It could be, right? But in general, in Mortal Kombat, when you see the opponent reeling back like that, that's not a combo opportunity. Instead, it's just that they can't move, right? They can block, they can tech a throw, but like they can't take affirmative actions. They're stuck, with the exception that they can just block or tech a throw. So I think that is what this looks like to me. Like this is like 1 hit, okay. Maybe she can hold on to it longer, and then the question is like, well, do you jump, or do you, what's the solution that you have to it? You know what I mean? If she tries to hold on to it, I don't know. Kind of cool idea, though. If we're right about any of that. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, it does look like all of the arms swing. I agree. I agree with that when she presses amplify right here. Yep, they all go. All right, so again, I don't think any of those were actual combos. You wonder if you block the first one, do you have to hold the rest like Joker's crouching shots? Yeah, Joker has a special move in one of his variations where he puts down a little Batman and the Batman shoots 4 times. And if you block the first one, you just gotta hold the rest. And it's great chip. And it really pushes back really far. So maybe. I don't know. And then I think this is probably unrelated, right? The stomp that you do after that. It's hard to imagine that that would be guaranteed. It looks like there's substantial hit stun on the fireballs here. Like he's still reeling right now. But I feel like he can already jump or something. So my guess is that this is like not actually a true setup. Maybe you'll catch people off guard. Is it unblockable? I imagine that the stomp that we saw where it lands on top of Sindel, one we saw a little bit ago, that's probably unblockable because there's precedent for that. Is this unblockable? That's the question. That's the question. Or is it like the first one is blockable, the second one's not blockable? Causes a nice pop-up at least. And I wonder if, let's see. So, okay, kind of looks like she's recovered here. I wonder if you happen to get this in the corner, can you juggle? Can you keep a combo going? Down one into whatever or something. So they showed a few different stomps. We're gonna take a look at a few of them here. So there's a lot to guess about in just this small little sequence, right? This is probably stand 1, 2. I'm trying to find this exact here. Yes, probably stand 1, 2, would guess. Looks like front punch, back punch. And then maybe she starts a stance, right? She kind of changes her position real fast. And she opens up all of her arms with flames on them. And then she maybe presses 2 to throw a fireball. Or maybe that was 1 rather, because it's from what looks like her front arm, I don't know. And then she throws the back leg version. And maybe it's certainly at least something you gotta block. Is it a low? I don't know. There's precedent for that, like I said, but who knows? I guess it probably is not, because if you're point blank here, then there just wouldn't be any reason for it to be a low, but who knows? Probably not. And then she throws the rest with Amplify, which probably makes her throw all of them no matter how many she has holding. And I don't think any of these individual moments are combos. That must have been, this 2-hitter right there, but in general, other than that, I think she was just kind of doing, just like caging the opponent maybe. And then this here, Stomp. Maybe a low attack, maybe a full screen low. Ooh, hello. Got a little funky right there. And then the Amplify this is a combo for sure. Yeah, that's gotta be a combo. The question is the first hit unblockable, or is it a low, or is it not a low? And the second hit, is that an unblockable if you amplify it on whiff, or can you only amplify it on hit? And then even on top of that, it kind of looks like she recovers in time to get a juggle if she was close. So there's just so much to guess about in that tiny little clip alone. I actually don't play on stick or pad. I play on what's called a hitbox. It's closer to a stick, I guess. It's the layout of buttons. Anyway, yeah, we can talk about that later for sure. Nathaniel-wise. Happy to chat about that after this. Alright. So, kickity kick. And then now, here's another look at maybe that same stance. So let's go back. Okay, so this is a kick. It looks like a 4, because it kind of looks like it's from the back leg. I don't know. And then here he is, stuck, and she activates this thing again. And it looks to me like Jax can do stuff here, right? Like, this is not like hit stun looking animation at this point. I'm pretty sure, this is him, like, just getting hit, right? It's just a little, trailer after all. Cool. Well, let's think about how that might play into what we think is a stance. So we go back to this one now. So 1, 2 into it. Like I said, I don't think this is a combo. This looks like something that Jax could block to me. So maybe there's a chance that if you say that Sheeva does this on block, what if it was like 1, 2, maybe stance, activation on block? Can you throw a fireball in time to interrupt what the opponent does? I don't know. Maybe instead what you have to do, if you want to make yourself safe, is that. Who knows, right? Or maybe in addition to that, maybe this is like, I guess here's a thing that will really depend on really have a big impact on the utility of it. Does she throw projectiles that will always move forward? Or does the projectile, just the flame, just come out underneath the opponent? And the difference is, if they're cornered, does this mean that you get to do juggle, juggle, juggle? Because the flame is just coming out where they are? Or instead, does the flame like move behind them and goes off screen eventually? Because that could really change the utility of this move as well. Okay, maybe you throw all of the balls if you meter burn after using at least one, and you get the geyser if you meter burn with all 4 unused, says Scargust. Seems plausible. That seems plausible. Orange Pulp says, so maybe the fireballs are a stance and that meter burn option is an equipped option. Could be. Yeah, and I hope, I haven't even addressed this, I hope that these are all tournament legal moves. Who knows, though? They've been pretty good about that for the last few characters that have come out. But we'll see, right? Anyway, so this looks nice. And, you know, I was expecting for Sheeva to have some projectile. We were talking last week when these characters were announced. And like I said, IGN had a tiny write-up, like one sentence that was like, she's going to be a command grab character. Basically, she'll have standing and crouching grabs, yada yada. Very short. But every character in this game has a projectile, or like some distanced option. Geras, Sandtrap, other characters have fireballs. The only exception is a couple of Jackie variations, and not even all of hers. So I really expected for Sheeva to have something like that as well, and it looks to me like that's probably what this is. Oh, okay, I like this. I like this, Orange Pulped. That makes sense to me. So Orange Pulped says, I could see the geyser hitting however many times based on how many fireballs you still hold. I buy it. I buy it. So here's the little knee, the little kick. And then here comes this, and she's got all 4. And she goes ba-bam. 1, 2, 3, 4. I buy it for sure. I like it. Okay, Scargus. Movement, and then here's a grab. So this has got to be forward grab. Right. And you know that because the opponent ends up front. This is the tooth deck. Regular grab. Okay. I wonder if she can cancel it, the jump into Stomp. Maybe. That said, in these clips, I don't think that we see Stomp being activated from the air. I think it's only ground. But that's not to say that you can't do it in the air. Who knows? So, okay. So here's that back grab. A little bit of it. These are smaller clips from the original trailer. Right, again, that. We see this. We see all those things. And here's one that we don't see in the newest trailer. So this is what looks to be a standing grab. Let's see if we can get the right time on this. Yeah. So Baraka looks like he was standing first. That's my guess. And she beats him up, and there's an amplify on it. And who knows what the Oki is afterward. Like I said, the IGN description said that she had standing grabs and crouchy grabs, and she had that in MK9 as well, so I continue to think it's likely that right here, that this little string, which causes a knockdown, wait, hold on a second. Are these unrelated clips? No. No, okay, no. So what's funky is that the beginning of this right here, so this little string, so string, I don't know, is it forward 2 or something? It looks like it's coming from her back arm. Who knows? The second hit causes a little knockdown kind of situation. She gets a little splat and the bounce. And then Katana goes rolling slightly. And as soon as the grab connects, it animates Katana as being crouching right away. So I think this is probably the anti-crouching grab. Don't you think? Doesn't that make sense? But like with many command grabs, I think every command grab, once the opponent gets launched or gets knocked off their feet, I guess probably most accurate way to put it, then you can juggle with command grabs. So like Kano has something like that, right? Every character who has a command grab can juggle if they do like an anti-air into it, right? Many strings have the ability to knock down into it. Not uncommon. But yeah, I think that this is probably the anti-crouch grab. And then this one is the anti-standing grab. So that's my guess on this. And I'm very curious about how this is going to work out, because most grabs in MK11 will work if the opponent's blocking, regardless of whether they're standing or crouching. So an example is like Baraka's command grab. It's a high, and you can neutral duck it without blocking. But if you're blocking, even if you're crouching, it's still going to grab you. And if you're standing, it's going to grab you, right? Most of them are like that. In the case of Spawn, though, in Variation 3, that's not how it works, right? You actually can crouch block under the grab. You have to be standing. Well, you have to be doing something other than that, I guess, right? So you can actually get caught by that if you are doing even like a crouching move, a down 1, a down 3, you're actually get grabbed by that command grab. But you evade the command grab if you're neutral ducking or if you're crouch blocking as well. So there's precedent for that now. And I wonder if Sheeva's gonna be like that, where she has to make the bet, this is a standing only grab, and if the opponent's crouching, even if the crouch blocking, will whiff, and the other one is a crouching grab. If the opponent is standing, whether they're blocking or not, it'll whiff. Like that's my guess. In MK9, there wasn't a true grappler yet. The closest was launch Cyrax, and they nerfed that pretty quickly. There wasn't a true grappler in NRS games until Injustice. So Sheeva hasn't had a chance to be in an NRS game where there's like real command grabs. And now there's a lot of them now. So I'd be surprised if they were blockable. But if they were blockable but plus frames or something like that, that might be cool anyway. You just wouldn't call them grabs really, right? Anyway, we'll see. So probably standing grab here. Okay, so these I believe are the comparison clips. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So here's that string again. So this is again, I don't know, forward 2, who knows, right? Forward 2, 1, back 2, 1, who knows. Causes a little knockdown, go for crouching grab, then juggle with the boot. Oh, that's actually right after this, I guess. I thought we were already in the comparison section. Here it is. Yeah, and then that, right? So those are the exact same sequences. Right, they're actually exactly the same. Yeah. That's my question. Scargust, is that kick just part of the animation? Or is that a stand 4? It looks like we already had like maybe a forward 4 or a forward 3 or something. And it looked like also there was a back kick that started and it had 2 hits. It was like a little knee into kick. So we've already seen a couple of buttons that look like they're either 3 or 4. I don't know. This looks to me like her stand 4 from MK9. That's what I thought initially. But now that we see 2 times we've seen this command grab, and both times it ends up with that kick launcher. Hey, I don't know. Kayamek thinks meter burned the low grab to get a launch instead of the kick. Yeah, maybe at that point she tosses them up, or maybe the kick pops them up rather than pushing them forward, right? Kick pushes them pretty far out, it seems. Yeah, and it also seems, let's see if this is, good one to see here. So could we see the recovery of this? So it looks like there's probably not enough time to juggle even in the corner, because even at this point, I'm not sure that Sheeva's actually recovered. It doesn't really look like it to me. And Katana's back is about to hit the ground, so this is probably not something that you get a juggle off of. Maybe if you meter burn it. Who knows? And then here's a couple of those, what I think are probably the back regular throws. That's it, right? You just get a little glimpse of this. Like, you gotta think that, like, immediately after this, she just kicks him behind her. Right, but they just didn't show that part. And same there. And then here's some stomps. So stomp, stomp. Stomp, stomp. Those look like they're the same. And then here's definitely a different stomp. For sure. Right? So, stomp. This is definitely just like full screen stomp. Yep, there it is. Again, is it a low or is it unblockable? Is the second hit a low or unblockable? What, can you juggle afterward? A lot of questions about it. Right, because it looks like she's recovered here and maybe enough time for a juggle in the corner. Who knows? But then we get to see it again. And then here, this is obviously a different move, right? So you got to think that this is a variation on the special move. Like maybe, I would imagine that the other ones are the regular one, and then maybe this is a particular variation move. Probably my guess here. Like, it's probably not the case that Sheeva could just, like, maybe it's that you just hold up as you're doing, these are typically down-up movements. Maybe you do down-up and you hold up and she goes, whoop, but I feel like it's more likely that it's just a different move. So, like, there's maybe, like, a base stomp, and it's probably the other one. And then special stomp is a variation, and they're both down-up movements. You just have access to a different one and a different variation. Do you think her up 3 potentially being a grab seems bad? It just really, really depends on whether it's duckable or not. If it's a high grab, that might suck. Yeah. But up 3s are mids. Some of them you can low profile, you know, but they're mids. So it would be weird if it was a grab but a high. But being a grab is already breaking the rule anyway, so why not? We just don't know. We just don't know. If it's a mid though, mid grab, that'd be awesome. Yeah, we talking about that, Brandon, that her wake up 3. Again, we're just assuming this is the up 3. Oh, it was right before that, actually. Here it was. So, I mean, it's not that they're stunned. It's just that it does hit stun like every attack. Like, Jax is just stuck here. And it doesn't seem like he's stuck for longer than anybody else. I don't know. Maybe a little bit, but not by much. Oh, do you think it's the opposite aces? Do you think that... Go back to the comparisons here. So, aces says... Let's get to the stomps. So, aces says, I feel like her classic stomp will be her base move. So this is not the classic stomp. This is like a launcher or something. Same here. And then here's the more classic take on the stomp. Maybe, I have no idea which one of those two is a base move, which one of them is the variation. I don't know. And it's hard to know which one's more useful as well. Just don't know enough about it. Here was this again, taking a look at this because we saw this a couple times. I think what we said about it makes sense to me, that y'all pitched the idea that it's a stance and that each button it corresponds to a fireball that she can release, and they have different angles. Or you can let them all go like this with the little geyser. That makes sense to me.